It's Friday, March 6th, 2026. Welcome to episode 193 of the Alameda Postcast, an audio service of the Alameda Post. I'm your host, Scott Peeler. Thank you for your indulgence last week as I was in snowy New Hampshire, back in town, thawed out, and ready to go. In this edition of the Postcast, the latest from City Council, a look ahead to the next planning board, layoffs paused at Alameda Health, our new postmaster makes history, the latest real estate sales, the Rotary Club plants for the future. CarrierCon is back, a golden celebration, events for your weekend, and don't forget the time change on Sunday. Our top story. On Tuesday, City Council unanimously adopted an amendment to the city's sidewalk repair ordinance, which will allow the city to complete repairs on behalf of property owners while offering financial assistance and payment plans. Property liens will be replaced with a standard collections process. There are three main components to the changes: temporary repairs performed by the city to quickly eliminate tripping hazards, repairing damage caused by street trees, which the city performs, and repair to damage not caused by street trees, which remains the responsibility of the adjacent property owner. A pilot program launched last February allows the city to perform repairs on behalf of property owners and then invoice those owners. Public Works Director Aaron Smith reported that more than 70% of notified property owners have chosen to have the city complete the work. The ordinance will return for a second reading on St. Patrick's Day, March 17th, with an effective date of 30 days later. Council unanimously approved the amendment. In other business, Administrative Management Analyst Annie Cox presented a recommendation that City Council authorize a lease with the owners of Project Burger next to the Alameda Theater. Staff noted that the tenant purchased the business in 2018 and has invested more than $60,000 in improvements and remains in good standing. The lease is expected to generate over $200,000 in revenue in the first 3 years. Council unanimously approved the lease. I, for one, am glad to hear it. Project Burger, definitely one of my go-to burgers on the island. If you've never been, check it out. Full details on Tuesday's meeting in Karen Jensen's article at alamedapost.com/news. Looking ahead to Monday, the Planning Board will continue its review of the city's 2025 annual reports, this time focused on the general plan and housing element. The reports outline progress made in 2025 and identify priorities for the year to come in order to inform budget and capital improvement program decisions. In 2025, just 65 new dwelling unit permits were issued, including 52 ADUs, of which 32 were designated as low or very low income housing. Still, the city approved planning entitlements for 356 units at Mariner Square Loop, 166 affordable units at Reshape, and 284 townhomes at West Midway. Planning entitlements are the initial discretionary approval that grants legal rights to develop land. For 2026, staff plan to complete the inclusionary housing ordinance update, adopt a short-term rental ordinance, revise commercial zoning regulations, and update the zoning ordinance to remain compliant with evolving state housing laws. For full details, including ways you can make your voice heard, see Karen Jensen's article at alamedapost.com/news. Alameda County officials voted on Tuesday, March 3rd, to delay laying off a total of 300 Alameda Health System employees and to consider alternative solutions, according to reports in the San Francisco Chronicle and other local sources. At their meeting, the Alameda County Board of Supervisors approved a motion to create a working group that will address financial imbalance in the hospital system. The proposed AHS layoffs, which had been set to take place this coming Monday, were announced in late December following the passage of the Trump administration Big Beautiful Bill, which slashed Medicaid by more than $900 billion over the next 10 years. As a result, AHS, which gets about 60% of its revenue from Medicaid, is projected to lose $100 million in revenue annually by 2030. In December, AHS leaders said they were looking at eliminating as many as 372 positions, including nurses, therapists, doctors, housekeeping staff, and other roles. In January, they published a plan scaling that back to about 188 positions, according to Oaklanside. Hospital staff said even that level of layoffs would significantly hamper their ability to care for patients. The county board has scheduled another meeting on March 17th to provide an update on the situation. Full story at alamedapost.com/news. In 1996, Otina Brown started her postal career as a letter carrier in North Oakland. 30 years later, you may call her Postmaster Brown. On February 27th, in her 30th year of service, Ms. Brown was sworn in as Alameda Postmaster, the first black woman to hold that position. As Alameda Postmaster, she now oversees 116 employees who process a daily mail volume of over 84,600 pieces, delivered to 35,778 addresses, 59 delivery routes, and 2,935 post office boxes. Brown, who resides in Brentwood with her husband, has 4 adult children and 1 grandson. During her downtime, she assists her church with feeding the unhoused in Oakland and enjoys traveling and playing basketball. so we know she definitely knows how to deliver it to the house. Welcome to Alameda, Postmaster Brown. A few of those addresses that Ms. Brown's employees delivered to changed hands recently. Liz Rush provides us with an update. The year of the Fire Horse kicked off with an uptick in sales, with 21 properties closing, 16 on the main island, 5 on Bay Farm. Prices range from $442,500 to $2,800,000. 16 properties closed above listing price, 2 at list and 3 below. Average time from listing to offer is just over 3 weeks, but throw out 3 outliers of 159, 65, and 56 days, that average drops to a week and a half. Full details in Liz Rush's article at alamedapost.com/real-estate. On Saturday, February 21st, the Rotary Club of Alameda and Community Action for a Sustainable Alameda, aka CASA, planted 22 trees at Ladecker Park. The project was completed in partnership with 100K Trees for Humanity and the Alameda Recreation and Parks Department. This was something of a full circle moment, since in 2025, CASA was awarded a Rotary Club of Alameda grant to help cover tree costs, with additional support from Rotary District 5170 and Alameda Municipal Power. Looking ahead, the Rotary will be at the ARPD Spring Shindig on April 18th at the Alameda Point Gymnasium, where they'll be handing out free fruit tree saplings while supplies last. In May, the club hosts a lithium-ion battery recycling event at Alameda City Hall Plaza, the 16th from 11 a.m. to 3 p.m. as part of Rotary's Epic Day of Service. Full story in Megan Noonan's article at alamedapost.com/alameda-life. With spring just around the corner, lots of events to mark your calendar for, starting with the USS Hornet. Cosplayers, anime fans, VTubers, and tabletop gamers will once again descend on the CV-12 for CarrierCon, coming up Saturday and Sunday, March 21st and 22nd. Last year, 2,000 attendees were on board. If you've got folks coming in from out of town for the con and have more guests than space, Executive Inn & Suites Embarcadero Cove in Oakland is offering a special CarrierCon rate. Even if you can't tell Sailor Moon from Dragon Ball, there's something you might be interested in. The photo track, with routes that take you into areas on the ship that the public normally can't access, including the Captain's Bridge, Combat Information Center, the ship's jail, a bomb assembly area, and even some unrestored and rather creepy passageways. Details on the Hornet's website. We'll also have a full article with ticket and hotel links on Tuesday at alamedapost.com/alameda-life. If you've listened to the postcast for any length of time, you know I have repeatedly made the claim that dollar for dollar, there is no better value in entertainment than a modern high school theater production. Our own Gene Kahane was moved to tears by the latest production at St. Joe's, Hadestown, the teen edition. The full version of the Tony-winning Hadestown remains a top draw on the Great White Way, with weekly grosses paralleling that of Wicked. You've got 2 chances left to catch this one, tonight Friday and tomorrow Saturday. Gene's review and pictures at alamedapost.com/arts. Of course, Gene is also the head of the Food Bank Players. They were scheduled to open their production of Much Ado About Nothing this weekend at the Food Bank itself. Unfortunately, the flu had other ideas. In a recent Instagram post, Gene announced the cancellation of this weekend's performances. Keep up with the latest from the Food Bank Players on Instagram. Just search The Food Bank Players, all one word. Much Ado About Nothing, just one of the events Amanda Laird highlights in her weekly all-around Alameda column. Tonight, Friday at South Shore, Sips Global Teas teams up with Color Me Mine for the Matcha Taste and Create Clay Workshop. Also tonight, the Alameda Community Band Spring Concert at 7:30 at the Mastic Center. On Saturday from 2:30 until 8, GrannyCon 2026 hits Park Street. And for International Women's Day on Sunday, join Renew Collective from 2 to 4 for Canvas and Chamomile. Details and sign-up links for all these events on the all-around Alameda column at alamedapost.com/alameda-life. Remember, here in Alameda, your neighbor just might be a Pixarian. Lots of Pixar people call Alameda home. Their latest effort, Hoppers, opens tonight. It's being called the funniest movie Pixar's ever done. It's playing in the Historic at the Alameda Theater and Cineplex. Thursday, Oakland throwing a party for gold medal skater Elisa Liu from noon until 1:30 at Frank Ogawa Plaza. A free event, but it's ticketed. Registration is required. Details on the City of Oakland's Facebook page. A hidden gem for you, a new coffee spot on Alameda Point. Blue Drip Company at 2350 Saratoga Street, Unit 101, just down from Humble Sea Tap Room and Vinyl Wine Bar. Tasty coffee, great prices, and a solid breakfast sandwich. Hope you can join me Sunday morning at 8 a.m. on KCSM HD2 for the latest episode of the Alameda Connection. My guest is Liz Warmerdam, president of the Alameda Backyard Growers. If you don't have an HD radio, you can stream the show from kcsm.org. Remember, spring ahead this weekend, either at bedtime on Saturday or if you're awake at 2 a.m. Sunday. Clocks go forward 1 hour. That means sunrise goes from 6:30 until 7:30. Careful on that Monday commute. Find the Alameda Post on all the social media platforms, now including TikTok. Get the Postcast wherever you get your podcast, or simply tell your smart device to play the Alameda Postcast podcast. I'm Scott Peeler, back next Friday with episode 194 of the Alameda Postcast.